Back again with another BASF, only this time it's an EMTEC one. I am rather enjoying this. It's actually quite nice to see the differences between all the different tapes. Quick history lesson: BASF got taken over by a company in the mid-90s, and so they then used the name EMTEC, which was the combined name. Yes, it's near enough, right? It was only the magnetics department, and that's the people who made the tapes. So these are the later ones, which are actually EMTEC branded. So let's have a look at this and get stuck into it. Here we go. Right, this is rather a nice looking tape. It's nice and modern, mid-90s, about 95. And you can see here they say it's for general good use, good quality use, for 5 stars everywhere. And it's quite smart. I like the appearance of the cassette shell through the wrapping. Right, now we can see if we can get this wrapping off this time. Oops, yeah. Grown me nail since the last one, but I'm not going to bother trying to get it off whole because it didn't work last time. It's not going to work this time, and it didn't. So here we go. Right, so that's it. Now at first glance it's very similar to the other one, the sound level 1 that I did last time, and but now this side it looks very much more interesting, and it's quite noticeable that the cassette shell is quite futuristic looking, black with a clear window, and it's a very slim case, and the shell itself is, you can see it's only got the markings for the actual type of tape it is, so it's a type 2. It's nice and rigid, there's no flex there. We've got the 5 screws again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not all cassettes with screws have 5, but the BASF ones tend to. And it's got nice little red lugs to hold the tape in. So let's have a look at the J card. Look much the same as the other one from the outside. The labels are adequate. J cards of a similar quality to the previous one that I did, but this one, it's got a interesting, it's got that little thing there, that sort of shape, which is actually used to hold the tape into the cassette case. So when you put it all back together again, the cardboard is integral to it. Hasn't got the ridges, and the plastic on this is not as firm feeling. It doesn't feel as durable as the previous ones. It's a little bit cheaper on the actual case, but the shell feels pretty good. And looking at the underneath there, let's have a look. Stick my finger in there. Now that looks like a leader that is actually a head cleaner as well, or it could just be opaque, but it does look like it's going to have a head cleaner ability. And there we come with the tape. Now again, my camera is pretty good on this. That is the colour of the tape in real life, and yeah, nice and dark. Overall, quite smart. Not overly impressed with the J card in the case, but again, cheap, better than the real cheap ones that used to be around. They're quite reasonable. And the labels are adequate. Can't say anything more than that. Anyway, let's go and see if we can sort out this Boof Ting thing. This is the trace for the Boof Ting, and you can see a nice sharp uprise and then the tail off. That's what we're looking for. I'm leaving the sound test to the end, so you have to watch all the way through to get to the end to listen to this tape. White noise, it's got signal right up to 20k, but you've got the little hump there which indicates that it's a type 2. But at minus 20 it's a much nicer pattern. Next we go for the pink noise. This should ideally be a slope, and again it's got a hump, but that's more like it should be. That's a very respectable pink noise there, with that angle. The full value shows on this trace that the two channels are very symmetrical. The minus 20s are very linear, but the 0 dBs have got a bit of an issue as far as frequency response is concerned. How big an issue? We'll have to wait and find out. So let's look at the noise floor. We've got here minus 81 dB, which is excellent, and it's one of the more flat type 2 silences that I've seen. Maybe now would be a good time to mention that this tape does not smell of wax crayon, so it's not 100% chrome. Looking at the 0 dB, 1 kHz and 3 kHz, you can see there is a harmonic there, but it's pretty low. And then on looking at the minus 20, it's perfectly clean, so that's lovely. Now we're going to look at this frequency response. This is what we've been waiting for. At 0 dB we've got a reasonable output up to about 16, maybe 17 kilohertz, which is not bad. It's pretty good, really. It's higher than this tune. And then we got this, which is the minus 20. Look at the way, all the way up to 19 kilohertz. That really is a superb result. I think this is where the lack of all the chrome has a benefit, because this one you can actually overdrive to plus dBs. This I've recorded at 5 dB and it's come in with 2.5 dB and a reasonable distortion. Well, I think it looks like it's quite a good tape. What we're going to do now is we're going to play the 2 bits of Patrick Patricos, and then there's another tune as a bonus at the end, which you can hear the source and the result on. So without any further delay, I'll hand it over to me to introduce what's happening next. Where We Want to Go by Patrick Patricos, dynamic and clean. Well, that's the first time I've heard that, and you've got to hand it to the tape. It's really doing rather well, and the W1200 is managing to handle the tape rather well, so at the end of the day, that's pretty good. And now for the minus 20. Where We Want to Go by Patrick Patricos, dynamic and clean. So now I've got a nice bit of music off the YouTube library, which I'm going to cut between the source, which is a digital file, which was the one used to be recorded by the deck, and for the actual playback from the deck. And I'll put the title up so you can see what's happening and when. So here we go. It's called Pray. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. And whilst researching this video, I found out that these tapes are available on Amazon. So there is a link in the description if you want to try and grab yourself one. They're not the cheapest tapes in the world, but I think you can agree they're pretty damn good. Anyway, if you've got anything out of this video, please click like, click subscribe, put a word around, share it about. Let's try and get the channel to grow. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you on the next one.